The film that started the Blockbuster era. Jaws changed cinema for good.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Hello everyone, I'm Firelink Frontier. Welcome to the channel. Here I discuss films, TV shows and video games. In today's video I'm going to be discussing one of my favourite films, Jaws. Jaws not only went on to become one of the highest grossing films of all time, it changed cinema, and Hollywood as a whole. It kick-started the Blockbuster era and is renowned for its iconic theme by John Williams. Steven Spielberg had directed just one film before taking on Jaws, and the entire production was plagued with problems. So how did this new director, and a film revolving around a temperamental mechanical shark, manage to become the highest grossing film of its time? That is until another little film came along in 1977 and took its place. Let's take a look. Based on Peter Benchley's novel of the same name, Jaws is a thriller film directed by Steven Spielberg and released in 1975. Spielberg had just finished directing his first film, Duel, when he began Jaws. The story takes place in a small beach town called Amity Island, where a great white shark begins to terrorise the residents and tourists. After a series of attacks leads to the death of a young woman, Police Chief Martin Brody, played by Roy Scheider, is determined to protect the town. Tensions rise between the police chief and the mayor, who wants to keep the beaches open for summer dollars. As the shark continues to wreak havoc, Brody teams up with marine biologist Matt Hooper, played by Richard Dreyfuss, and the grizzled shark hunter Quint, played by Robert Shaw, to track down and kill the shark. I love a good trio in films, especially when they all have conflicting personalities. The three of them set off on an old wooden boat called the Orca, and tensions soon rise, not only between them and the shark, but also between each other.
Give me your hands. You got city hands, Mr. Hooper. Been counting money all your life.
Jaws is able to create a great sense of tension without even showing off the shark initially. It uses clever camera work, point-of-view shots, and props like barrels and the fin to create tension. This was one of the first films that made me love cinema. I distinctly remember watching it as a child and being completely enthralled by the whole thing. Jaws successfully merges horror and adventure, and there are also some great character moments throughout the film, which makes it a truly great film. The film had a troubled filming, and the reason the shark is seen so little in the early scenes is in part due to the temperamental nature of the mechanical shark used, but the film is all the better for it. There's a great documentary on the making of Jaws that I'd recommend, which goes into all the details of how the temperamental shark contributed to the film's tension and suspense, called The Making of Jaws. The film employs a good use of tracking shots to create an ominous sense of the shark as it draws near. Steven Spielberg also uses a technique of having the camera appear half submerged in water, giving the viewer the feeling that they're drowning. It also uses a variation of lighting, contrasting between the murky depths, where the shark could lurk anywhere, to the bright daylight where the three main characters feel safe, for a time at least. Our three main characters, Chief Brody, Hooper and Quint, each have their own varying personalities, and each complement each other well. Chief Brody, played by Roy Scheider, is our protagonist, and ironically has a phobia of water, despite choosing to live on an island. He is joined by Richard Dreyfuss as Hooper, a marine biologist and rich college boy, and finally there is Robert Shaw as Quint, a professional shark hunter and ex-Navy officer. Their clashing personalities create a lot of tension, as we see in the film, particularly between Hooper and Quint. Robert Shaw gives a great performance, and Quint retelling his backstory about his time aboard the USS Indianapolis is one of my favourite moments in the film. The film will keep you on the edge of your seat. Throughout the first half of the film, there's gradually increasing tension as the victims pile up and the mayor becomes more erratic about the beaches staying open. We initially see the tranquil island turn to chaos and the scenes become more frantic. When the trio go out on the Orca, there are varying moments where the shark attacks, and quieter moments as the three characters bond over their scars and we hear more about their backstories. The film has had a lasting impact on Hollywood, helping establish the Hollywood summer blockbuster. Its use of building up the suspense of the creature through tension rather than showing it off straight away can be seen in films like Alien and Predator. The film's influence, along with Steven Spielberg in general, can be felt in films like Godzilla -1, with the characters going out on an old wooden boat to hunt down Godzilla. Universal Studios decided to show the film off in 450 cinemas, which was a very high amount for a major studio at the time, and this, along with an extensive marketing campaign and great word of mouth, helped launch Jaws into the first summer blockbuster. It changed the course of Hollywood towards high-budget spectacle films that had mass appeal. It grossed $440 million, which would be about $1.5 million adjusted for inflation today. For me, this film is one of my all-time favourites. The film, along with the documentary about it, helped establish my love of films, and also helped me understand how the use of clever shots and camera angles can be used to create tension. It launched Steven Spielberg and John Williams into stardom. It's a great thriller and adventure film with elements of horror and suspense. It will go down as one of the most influential films ever made. I'm Firelink Frontier, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.